Her AI assistants, definitely a game changer. I use AI every day, but seeing it move like that was totally next level. It wasn't replacing people, but it was just enhancing the experience, making everything seem like just feel seamless and intuitive.
Worked with AI, it was cutting edge. We worked with AI to get our positioning together. We worked with AI to get our branding and our social media together. My favorite was working with Renee and really helping me to get my pricing together, because although I've been doing it 7 years, pricing can be tricky.
Biggest takeaway was getting a solid on my positioning. That was my biggest takeaway, because I realized that I've been doing business in a lot of backwards ways. And I thought I had already passed that stage. And I just feel so clear right now and excited about moving forward. And so thank you to you, Paisley, Chloe, Renee, for getting me straight and helping me to see what was right in front of me.
Put us to work pretty much by creating Paisley to help us get clarification on what we're doing, Chloe to help us put the content, our clarification, into content form, and then Renee to help us figure out how we can make money. All great ideas, and they did a great job.
Kelly showed us how to use technology. Quite frankly, she lit a fire in my behind. And what I took away the most from that fire was how to use technology, how to use AI to level up in your business, how to use AI to help you curate your marketing message with clarity and with confidence.
This is definitely a 10x moment, and I am so grateful for her brilliance in AI, how she cares and just meticulous about what she has done in all of this. And I will be so forever grateful. I am so looking forward to applying all that I have learned, the wisdom, the guidance, all of the plans that her AI agents have done. Awesome, awesome. I'm so grateful.
Hey, what's up, everybody? That is the must-have system for women experts. That's what they were talking about. That's what all of those ladies were talking about. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. And over this 4-part series, we are going to be understanding what you need as a women expert to really command those high 5 and 6-figure contracts. And I'm going to clean my camera. I should have done that before I got on here. Yeah, that's better. All right. So we're going to be talking about the must-have system. But here's the thing. I didn't want to just share with you and tell you what it was. I wanted to show you. So over the next 4 days, I am going to be showing you how the system works, because I know a lot of you are not like me, who are in love with AI. So many of us are worried about AI replacing us, and what we really should be focused on is how we leverage AI so that we don't get replaced. And so that is what I did in building this system for you. And if you're not one of those who, like me, spends hours and days and your weekends figuring out how to program and instruct and teach AI how to do what you know how to do, then you're in the right place, because I've done it for you. I have done it for you. And so here's what I want you to know is that when I started in this business, I started full time as an entrepreneur, as a speaker in 2020. And I did that after I was terminated from my job as a lawyer, a partner in a law firm, because they said they could no longer afford to pay me. But before that happened, I was on a mission. I was on a journey, because I had decided that after over 2 decades of practicing law and being a trial lawyer, that I no longer wanted to be constrained. I wanted to be able to go out into the world and do more, right? With my voice, with my expertise, with the things that I knew. And I knew that I could do that. But I also know that I needed help to figure out what was the way to get that done. And so starting in 2018, I started on this journey of trying to figure out how do I turn my expertise, right? My how do I leverage my profession to pursue my purpose? So how do I turn that expertise that I had garnered over 2 decades as a trial lawyer, as an arbitrator, as a mediator, as a professor in higher education? How do I turn that and use that and make money with my mind as opposed to making money for other people? And at that time, so this is 2018, while AI, right, has been around for a long time, AI in the out in the common, right, for us common folk, we weren't really thinking about AI. We weren't really thinking about how to use AI or that it was even a thing that we should be concerned about. And so when I was deciding how I figure out what to do next, how do I make money with my mind? How do I take what I had been doing for over 2 decades as an employment law trial attorney, as a public defender when I first started? How do I take that and not make it a one-to-one translation in terms of coming out and being a lawyer, because I didn't want to do that? How do I take that and use it as an expert and as a thought leader to actually make money? Well, my options at that time were to hire coaches. And that's exactly what I did. I hired coaches. I hired coaches and I invested tens of thousands of dollars and 2 years of my life to figure out what I'm going to teach you today that you can do in probably 90 minutes and for way less than what I invested. So, that's what I want to talk to you about today. And what I want to talk to you about is the system. And the system is what I call the mogul operating system. This is a system that I have developed based on all of those years of expertise, all of those years of experience, these years since becoming a full time entrepreneur, working with other women experts and understanding what it is that is needed to help you transfer your corporate skills into an entrepreneurial enterprise, and also being hired by companies and being paid 5 and 6 figures and understanding what they're looking for. And so when I was, in my era of learning and investing and being coached in those 2 years, over those 2 years, and then working as in my own business for the past 5 years, I've developed proprietary frameworks and ways in which I work with women experts to really help them to position, package, and price their expertise so that they can land these 5 and 6 figure contracts, and so that they do become what I call expertpreneurs, people who make money with their mind. And so I'm going to be showing you how I leverage AI. And it's not in the way that you have seen it done before, in terms of prompt engineering. It's not prompt engineering. So I'm not going to give you a prompt and tell you to go off and do that. I'm not going to say, oh, just copy and paste this and put it into your chat GPT and go off about your business. No, this is a true system that I have taken months and months and many, many hours to develop. And it's based on my expertise. It's based on my frameworks. It's based on the strategies that my clients have paid me 5 figures for. And it is all put into this system. The system right now is built on 4 custom GPTs. It is going to expand because there's other GPTs that have already been built. However, those won't be released until we have our event, the 6th, the Speaking Industry Expo, which is happening in March of 2026. And as you can see scrolling across the bottom, we're having a relaunch party on December 16th. So come to that. It's free. It's on Zoom. So you can learn all about what's going to be happening at the 6th. It's going to be a 10x, 20x of what you're gonna see today. So the mogul operating system is based on these GPTs. What is a GPT? Because you've probably heard people say GPT and you may not know what a GPT is. If you use Chat GPT, inside of Chat GPT, there is a way for you to create your own don't know what the GPTs are called, but create your own teammate, create your own advisor, create your own thing that creates stuff for people, right? So it's like your own engine, your own chat engine. I'll just say it like that, make it simple like that. So you're creating your own chat engine inside of Chat GPT. What many people do is they will just open up, right? Create a GPT and say, hey, I want you, for example, to I want you to help me create LinkedIn posts. And so it may give it some general information about the post, and you may give it a role, right? Tell them what their role is, and you may give it some like kind of job description. And that's cool, right? That's cool. If you want to use it that way, that's fine. What I know though is that that will give you very generic responses, and you'll have to tweak and you'll have to figure it all out. So, what I decided to do is to be able to help my clients and help women experts who want to go deeper and who want to leverage my expertise, but perhaps you're not ready to, work with me full time or on a longer time basis or in one of my higher containers, right? Higher ticket containers. But you do want to have access to my brain. You do want to have access to my strategies. You want to have access to my frameworks. Well, this is how you do it. So what I did was I trained all of these GPTs on my frameworks, on my strategies. They have pages and pages and pages of instructions embedded into them based on my knowledge. And so we use that to be able to help you to get through the pieces of what you need to be building this expertise-based business that allows you to command 5 and 6 figure fees. Okay. And so the mogul operating system is based on 3 pillars. Those pillars are positioning, messaging, and revenue. So it's the PMR cycle, the PMR framework. Those are the 3 areas that you need to be focused on. And I know people are probably like, but what about sales? And what? That's under revenue. Well, what about content and that's under messaging. Well, what about my branding? That's under positioning, right? And so I want you to like really simplify what it is that you're doing so that this doesn't become such a burden for you. And you think that, oh my gosh, I have to be doing this over here and that over there and this over here. I've already built everything for you to be able to do it. So right now in our mogul operating system, under positioning, we have built Paisley. So Paisley is going to help you to do all of your positioning. And today I'm actually going to walk you through and show you exactly how Paisley works. So today we're going to work with Paisley and she's going to work on our positioning. We also have Chloe. Chloe's job is Chloe is the content collaborator. So what Chloe will do is take the information that you've generated and collaborated with Paisley on, and she will use that to then help you to outline and develop what your content should look like. So if you think about positioning, the positioning is who you are, right? Who you are, who you want to be, what are the problems that you solve? Why do you want to solve those problems? Why should anybody pay you to solve those problems, right? That's what your positioning piece is. Chloe is then going to take that information, right, under your messaging, and she is going to help you to develop content around your expertise. Maya is the mogul marketer. Maya is also under messaging. Maya is going to then help you, say, for instance, like we have the 6 coming up, right? And we want to know, well, how do I market that? So I have this expertise. Now, how do I message this? So the messaging is, how do you say, right? How do you put out into the world? Positioning who you are. Positioning is how do you message? How do you tell people about who you are and what you do, right? So Maya and Chloe will help you do that. And then we have Renee, who is the revenue architect. And what Renee is going to do is Renee will help you to develop a 90-day roadmap. So positioning who you are, messaging, how do you get that out into the world, and revenue, how am I going to make money from that? Because that's the part, right? We really want to know how we're going to make money from it. So over these next 4 days, so today through Friday, you're going to meet Paisley. You're going to meet Maya. You're going to meet Chloe, and you're going to meet Renee. And you're going to see exactly what it is that they do. And you'll see how easier it is, and why this is the system that you must have, right? As a woman expert, this is the system that you must have, and it's called the Mogul Operating System. So before I jump in, just one last reminder, because I'm going to show you now how to actually use Paisley. But before I do that, I want to remind you that on December 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern, we are having our relaunch party for the 6th, which is the Speaking Industry Expo. It is the in-person event of the century for women experts. It is the first AI wired business incubator, meaning that I have infused AI into all of what we're doing, and that when you leave Atlanta, you will leave with work and implementation and things done ready for your business, as opposed to a book full of notes. So if you already know that you want to get your ticket, you can go to speakingindustryexpo.com and grab that ticket. If you and there's 2 tickets. There's the 2-day ticket is $500, 3-day ticket is $950. I'm going to pop up the QR code for the relaunch party so you can scan your QR code. It's free. We're going to be giving away prizes. Prizes include free tickets to the 6. It also includes a free Mogul operating system. So listen, you want to be in the room. You want to be in the room. So you can scan the QR code or go to meetmeatthe6.com. Let me show you something really quick too. When you go to that, when you go to the screen, this is what you are going to see. When you go there, you are going to see this, which is, let me put it full screen. This is where you're going to end up when you go to meet me at the 6, or you scan this QR code. You'll see right here, it says register for the relaunch party. When you click on there, it sends you to a form. You complete the form, but come back to this page, because when you come back to this page, let me show you what happens when you come back to this page. You are then going to see this. You won't see the left-hand side of it. That's the, hold on, let me get back. Let me get where I need you to go. Is it this one? No, this one. Okay. Ignore the left-hand side, because that is like behind the scenes you're seeing, but you're going to see this. And these are things that you can do to get more entries into the raffle. So I wanted to make it fun. So in order to increase your odds of winning the up to $40,000 worth of prizes that we're giving away, do some of these things and you'll get more entries into the raffle. Okay. So let me come back to you. There we go. Let me come back to you. Okay. So now what we're going to do. So go get your seat. Let's see you December 16th. Share it with anybody that you need to be there. Oh my God, there's like a million comments. Oh, yeah, dummies over on YouTube. Lord, I gotta block all these people. Anyway, now what we're going to do, we're going to jump into the first part of our Mogul operating system. So today we're going to work on positioning, and we are going to use the same person throughout the next couple of days to demonstrate this Mogul operating system. So I'm going to look over here at my notes, who we're talking about, who we're going to be using. So we're going to be using, her persona is Dr. Simone Carter. She is the former VP of talent. She has a PhD. She's led teams, managed million-dollar budgets. She left corporate around 18 months ago after restructuring, and she started her own consulting business, helping companies build inclusive leadership pipelines. So she has delivered workshops and training sessions, but she's struggling to scale beyond trading time for money. Does that sound like any of you? Trading time for money and not really understanding how to transition your skills into this space, right? Transition your corporate skills. All right. So she's hovering around speaking for free to maybe speaking for about $2,500. but her goal is to have a $500,000 year, right? That's her revenue goal for the year. And the problems that she solves for her clients are related to pipeline issues, training not working, right? They have people going through leadership programs, but they're not working. Diversity, public commitments to diversity, having internal resistance around that. So I just wanted to give you that framework around who it is that we're going to be using for this positioning exercise as we go through. And she's going to be the person that we use every day through Friday. So let me pull up. I'm going to come off screen and I am going to pull up our positioning, and we are going to pray. Pray that technology does exactly what it's supposed to do, but it should. So let me hold on for a second. Let me get rid of all these people over here and just acting stupid. Okay, so let me pull up for you now. I am going to share screen and we're going to start working with Paisley. And one of the things that I want you to pay attention to is how much the amount of time that it takes. So let me just have that screen so that you can fully see the screen. Okay, so we are going to work with Paisley. And one of the things that you should understand is that this entire system is built for you. It's built to work with you. It's built as an advisor. It's built as a strategist. It's built as a mentor. It's built as an analyst. And so you don't have to come to it with any type of prompting. What you need to come to it with is your profile, your expertise, the problems that you solve, the things that you know, right? And how you want to run your business. That's what you need to come with. And the system is so simple that the only thing that you need to do to start in any of them with working with any of the teams is to say hello. So here we are, it's 12:46 p.m. and we're going to say hello to Paisley and we're going to get started. So once I say hello to Paisley, she asked me my name. I'm going to say Simone because that's who we're using, Dr. Simone. So she's going to ask. So she says, hey, Simone, I'm Paisley, your positioning partner. I'm here to help you get clear on who you are, who you serve, and what makes you different so you can stand out and attract the right opportunities. Ready to get started? Yes, I am ready to get started. So great. So she's going to ask me, how would I describe myself, right? So I'm going to tell her who I am. So I'm going to just copy and paste right now for Paisley. I'm going to copy from our work. So I say, I'm a former VP of talent, a PhD, manage budgets, lead teams, and I've designed and implemented leadership development programs. So I'm going to tell her that. So that's who I am today. Right? So she's talking to me, right? She's like, okay, I get it. I see it. This is a strong start. Let's make it even clearer. When you think about your expertise, so you see, she doesn't just take the information, she actually looks at the information and processes it. So she's processing and asking me, when I think about my expertise, which part feels more central to me right now? So, would I say I'm a leadership development expert, a talent strategist, an organization psychologist, a learning and development leader? So I'm going to say I'm a leadership development expert. Okay. So now who do I want to become? When people think of me 3 to 5 years from now, how do I want them? How do I want them to describe you? How do you want them to describe you? Let's see. I would say as someone who impacted organizations and created systems that allowed for inclusive and safe work environments. And I'm just making this up. I'm really just making this up. Okay. So as you can see, what's happening is that when I'm telling her stuff, I'm not being clear enough or not being specific enough. And so she wants me to be more specific. So when you say you want to be known as someone who impacted organizations, what kind of impact do you want to make? For example, do you see yourself as the expert who builds, the strategist, who I'm going to say the expert who builds and leads inclusive cultures? Okay. Great. So now we have a clear direction. So what I want you to see is that she's really probing, right? And it's not just going to be like you put information in and then it's just going to give you information out. It really does analyze and strategize with you. So when someone encounters your brand, your presence, your voice, your work, and what should it feel like? I want people to feel like my brand is authoritative, empowering, bold, and innovative. And also down to earth, because that's how I am, right? So I'm going to say that's what she is. Simone wants this to be. Okay. So I'm telling Paisley how I want my brand. So great. Now she wants to know, let's shift to your audience. Who do you want to impact with your work? These are the people who will directly experience your message, leadership, or transformation. And I'm going to say women, leaders, and executives. Women leaders and women executives. That's what we're going to say in terms of who Dr. Simone wants to really impact. So, she's asking more questions, tell me the groups. And so it gives you also ideas to help jog your brain. Okay. So now we're talking about great women leaders and women executives. Now that's clear. So let's separate into two groups, right? Because there's always two groups, your paying audience and your consuming audience. So one, who are the people that you impact? That's women leaders and executives. Now who's going to pay me? It could be the same group, but in this scenario, because I'm going into corporations, it could be HR or operations. And that's what I'll say. HR, operations, associations, conferences, right? And I'm no specific industry right now. I don't want a specific industry for Simone. Okay. So now we know, right? So now we know. So now why? Remember I said part of positioning is why does anybody want to pay you? So we have to think about why would what Simone wants to do, what you want to do, why would anybody want to pay you for that? And when we're talking about going into corporations, remember we always have to be thinking about they are looking at bottom line, right? They're doing bottom line issues. And so you have to tie it to their bottom line. So in this case, like what's the business case for them? Think in terms of risk they're trying to avoid, outcomes they want. So we know that one of the outcomes that they want from our brief, where we were talking about for Dr. Simone, right? She says that they have a leadership, they have a serious leadership pipeline issue. So I'm just going to copy and paste that here. She also says that, their training. So here's one thing she says, that they're getting called out publicly around the training. But she says, we've done the training, we've done all the things, but essentially we've put lipstick on a pig and it's still the pig. Right? Then nothing's happening. They also have an internal resistance problem, right? So these are things that they want to resolve. They have an internal resistance problem, right? And so these are things that are, I'm going to put here, these are things that are affecting their bottom line. Okay. I'm just putting that in there. And again, when you're working with her, you're going to do it your way. You're going to answer according to your things, right? So we're looking at what are the core drivers that are going to cause somebody to want to pay you. So that's what she's looking at. Anything else I want to add right now? I'm just going to say no. All right. So it's 12:54. We're doing well. We started at 12:46. We are doing well. So there's nothing else that I want to add. So now she's thinking. All right. So now she wants to know, well, how do I do this work? Right. I said this is the type of work that I do. And I say I want somebody to pay for it. So how do I do this? Like how do I do this type of work? So, do you already have a process, a framework, or an approach you use when helping builders build inclusive cultures? If yes, she'll walk me through it. If no, then she'll help me. She'll help me with one, right? So, for right now, I'm just gonna say yes. I have a process, and my process is the inclusive workplace initiative. I'm just making that up. Okay. I'm just going to say that's it. If I didn't give that to her, then she would say, okay, great. Tell me how you work with people. And then she would help you actually develop a framework, which is vitally important when you want to make 5 and 6 figures. You need to have proprietary systems. You need to have your own intellectual property, not taking what everybody else does. And so, what she would help you do if we didn't say I had the inclusive workplace initiative is that she would then walk you through how you do what you do and help you to develop your own, what we call unique mechanism. Okay. So, I'll just tell her that step 1 is that we do an assessment of the workforce. Then we decide the type of training. Again, I'm just making this up because this is not how I would usually do it. But decide the type of training, and then we provide coaching. I'll just say that. Right. So that's how our initiative works. So she says, this is good. Let's add a little more clarity so it feels more robust. And she says, here's what I'm hearing. Assess the workforce, determine training needs, deliver coaching. But she wants to probe, right? Because she's not just a bot. She is your strategist. She is your analyst. She is your advisor. So I'm just going to use some of what she said here. So these are the things that I'm looking for. I'm looking for these gaps. What change should leaders see? There should be less resistance. Pipeline should reflect our targets. And the training should stick. All right. Let's see if she likes that or not. Let's see if she likes that or not. Oh, we got our let's see. Let me see if she likes that or not. Okay, let's go back. Great. So we have that. So she still has some more questions. After coaching, do you provide any support for implementation? Do you want your initiative to include any system level changes? Right now, I'm just going to say no to both. Right. But you can see how deeply she is working with you. All right. So what makes me different? I'm just going to say all these things. My experience, my results, my background, right? So as Simone, we already said Simone is, she is all that, just like many of you. She has all the receipts. She has all the credentials, right? And now her clients say that she makes complex and difficult issues easy to understand and creates safe spaces. Okay. So these are Simone's differentiators. When it's time for you, you would be talking about that. So now she wants to know, she's reflecting back, right? And she's not just reflecting back what I dumped in just right here, right, which are these bullet points. She is going back and looking at the history that I put in. And now she wants to know, okay, where do you want to anchor yourself? And if you're talking about this, where do you want to anchor yourself? And I want to, if I'm Simone, I want to anchor myself in the lived experience, results, and communication. Now, and client feedback on complex issues, complex and sensitive issues, right? That's where I want, as Simone, I want to be grounded and my brand to be grounded in those pieces. All right. So those three will give you positioning, real strength. Who else is out there working doing work similar to yours? I'll just say I don't know for now. But you would want to know who else is out there, right? Looking at that. So she says we can still get what we need. So if you don't know, we could still, get what we need. Who do they usually turn to when an organization has these types of problems? Who do they usually turn to? And I'll say they usually turn to, I'll just say for now, a DAI consultant. Sometimes a lot of them go to big firms, right? So we'll put that here. All right. And then, so one last thing. So it's 101, right? So we're just at about 15 minutes. And she says, one last thing before we move into it. Why these people, why these platforms, and this moment in your career? What's driving you? And this is really important because remember, we talked about the why, where people, why would anybody want to pay you, right? Why would anybody want to take out their money to pay you? Well, you also need to have your own why because money resides at the level of why. So you need to understand why this is so important to you. So I'm going to say because, and you could talk to her too, but because we're using the mic for this, we can't. But because when I was in corporate, I was impacted by these types, and again, I'm just making up stuff of issues, and I want to ensure that other women in corporate don't experience the same and are able to thrive in their roles and live beyond their potential. I'm just putting this in here. Okay. All right. So that's what I've said to her about that. And she says, great, powerful, deeply connected. Now, before I draft, she wants to confirm one thing. Am I satisfied with everything? So one of the things, she's not just going to like spit it out to you. She is going to ask you if you're satisfied. So I'm going to say, yes, I'm satisfied. I'm satisfied. Okay. So now here she is. She's building out things for me. So she's built out what is my big promise. So my big promise is I help, and she's given me the framework. I help women leaders and executives move from feeling unsupported and overlooked to becoming confident, high impact contributors by guiding organizations to build inclusive leadership cultures, right? So based on what we've put in, she's given us that. So I'm just going to say, no, that's good. We're good. I don't need any adjustments, but if you wanted to adjust, you can adjust. I just want to go through and show you what she's going to provide for you. Right. So now our promise is locked in. So here's our one-liner. So if I needed to say this really quickly during, networking or just to help others refer me, I say help women leaders rise by teaching organizations how to build inclusive cultures where their talent can thrive. That sounds good to me. So I'm going to say, no, I'm good. Let's keep it moving. All right, so my one-liner is approved. So now we're going to do our profitable positioning platform. And so it says I partner with organizations. So that was over there. Like, what do I do? Now, this is how I work. I partner with organizations to fix stalled leadership pipelines and build inclusive cultures so women leaders can advance, contribute, and thrive. You see how this is really specific to what you have put in. So you'll see how it's going to be customized to you, right? It's not just coming up with any random thing. Okay, I'm going to just say no, it's good. So we can move through it as we do this simulation. All right, so that part's approved. Now let's shape your framework draft. So remember I talked about my inclusive workplace initiative, and I had just said, oh, I do an assessment and then we do some this, figure out training. And so now she's actually built it out, right? So let's actually have a draft of it. And again, you can decide if this is good or not. I'm just going to say, yes, this is great. And I'm going to keep moving. All right. Now this is the hard part, right? Because I hate writing a bio. I'm constantly changing my bio. And, on our LinkedIn, everywhere, like if we're writing an article, we have our Substack, we have our newsletters, we have everything. We want to have a bio that really shows who we are, what we do. And so here, right then, based on everything that we've done, she's created a bio for Simone. So let's read it. Simone is a leadership development expert who helps organizations build inclusive cultures where women leaders can thrive. With 12 years as a Fortune 500 vice president of talent development and a PhD in organizational psychology, she blends research, real-world leadership experience, and clear communication to address the cultural barriers that hold women back. You remember where that came from? Remember where those three pieces came from? Through her inclusive workplace initiative, she guides organizations to assess culture gaps, strengthen leadership behavior, and develop training that actually sticks. Her clients value her ability to take complex, sensitive issues and make them easy to understand while creating spaces where leaders feel safe enough to change. Simone's work is driven by her own experience navigating corporate systems and her commitment to ensuring women in leadership are supported, seen, and able to reach their full potential. Do you see where all of that has come from? Right? It is all based in the information that we have been working with. So it is reflecting, it is analyzing, it is using all of that information. I think this is great. So I'm just going to go with that bio for now. All right. So next, what she's going to do is she's going to build this entire thing into a report. So one of the things about GPTs and custom GPTs is that they are temporary, meaning that if you refresh the page or you close the page, you're going to lose all of your information. So one of the things is that as you're going through, maybe you're, maybe, I didn't refine anything, but maybe I refined something and I wanted to make sure that I keep that information. You would want to save that information, right, inside of somewhere, like copy and paste it for now. And if you're using our mobile operating system, then we have a system where you can actually save that information on a dashboard so that you can easily access it later. But she's asking me, do I want a Word document or a PDF? And I'm just going to tell her I want a Word document. So she's going to actually give you a report, which is not what a lot of, other people aren't doing this. Like you would get that information. Now you got to go figure out, what to do with it. But she is going to create a Word document for us. And it's going to have all of the information that we have created together. So from 1246 to we're now at 108. So what's that? 22 minutes. We've built your positioning. You know how long it took me to do that. I told y'all it took years, right? So here she says, here's your report, and you can download it using the link, and then tells you to save, parts of your conversation you'd like to keep for your records. And she's wishing you continued clarity, courage, and confidence as you build your platform of power. And this concludes our session. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to download the report. I'm going to stop sharing this section so that I can get to the report. So I'm going to open the report on my computer. I'm going to open the report. Let me take off the protection on there. I'm going to open the report, and then I am going to show you what that report looks like. Of course, now Word's going to open every document on my computer. Hold on for a second, y'all. Let me close some of these so I can get you to the right document the only document that we need to see, which is our positioning report. So let me get to sharing the screen. And I'm going to just share the report with you. So what you can see here, hopefully you can see it, from the report is that this report was prepared for Simone. This is wrong. I got to change this. It should say Paisley. I don't know why it says Posey, but it should say prepared by Paisley, and it's created by me, right? This is my system. It gives you a summary of who she is, all the things that we talked about, unique insights, your platform, your one-liner, all the things, right? It's all in here in your own report. So you get that at the end of your session. So it is 1:10. We started at 12:46. 26 minutes. You have your entire positioning that you can go out into the world and use immediately. Now, obviously, I didn't do any refinements. I didn't, push back on a lot of the different things. She pushed back a lot on me in the beginning, but you can see you can do this maybe an hour, maybe an hour and a half to really dive in and make sure that you get every single thing that you need. So now this positioning report, right? So we've done our positioning. This positioning report is what we're going to use tomorrow when we start to work with Chloe, because Chloe's going to ask us for this report. So when we start tomorrow, we will start with Chloe, and we're going to work with your content. And we're going to use our positioning to develop our content. Let me know what y'all think. Like, whether you're watching this on replay, I know there's some people with me live right now. Like, what are your thoughts about this? What do you think about what you just saw, and whether or not this is something that you would want to use in your business? Because what I know is that no matter where you are, if you listen to the videos at the beginning, no matter how long you've been in this business, you always have to be looking at your positioning. You always want to make sure that your positioning is on point. It is a living, breathing thing. So even if you're just starting, or you've been doing this for 10 years or 20 years, you really do need to dive in and make sure that going into 2026, that your positioning is on point. So Paisley is one of the assistants inside of the mobile operating system right now. If you want to have access to the entire system, you're just like, Kelly, you sold me on that one. I saw what she can do. I can only imagine what the others can do. Then just drop MOS in the comments, and I will send you the link where you can purchase it. It is $997 for lifetime access to get access to the mobile operating system in its current state, with the 4 assistants, Paisley, Chloe, Maya, and Renee. You pay once and you have it for a lifetime. You'll have those 4 assistants for a lifetime, plus you get an additional, you get 60 days of support that goes along with that. And then if you need additional support, you can continue beyond that. But that was Paisley. This is part of the must-have system. The must-have system is the mobile operating system. Tomorrow, I will be back. Same time, same bat station, 12 p.m. Eastern or around that time. And we are going to then move into working with our content collaborator, who is Chloe. So we're going to get Simone, we're going to get her content going based on her expertise. So I would love to hear your feedback, hear your thoughts. Share this with somebody who needs to know and needs to get their positioning together so that they can go into 2026, not just doing all these exposure gigs and free gigs, and really being able to stand in the power of who they are. And a final reminder to join us December 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern for the relaunch party of the the Speaking Industry Expo. The Speaking Industry Expo is, and I'm going to pull that up for a second, is the first and only AI wired business incubator for women experts. If you're ready to turn your brilliance into systems and wealth and legacy, then you need to be in the room. So I'm going to show you that page for one quick second. Let's see. Where did it? Here it is. So to the Speaking Industry Expo page, speakingindustryexpo.com. Let me go down here. And you can see, you can go to the registration page if you want to sponsor the event. We would really appreciate that, or be an exhibitor. And so if you're a woman expert and you want to show off your business to potential clients, potential partners, then you can be an exhibitor. We have a few spaces left for that. Here you can find out about the agenda and who some of our speakers will be, because we have the Iconic Talk Showcase, but we're going to go through this in detail at the relaunch party. But I just wanted to show you, where you need to go in terms of registering if you just want to grab your ticket right now. So this is just the home page. That's where you would go for, to just learn more about the event. And then if you are ready, then let me make sure that page just came up. See, it'll tell you if you try to get off that page without getting your ticket, it's going to remind you. But here's your registration page, and you see that we have 2 levels, right? We have your Momentum Builder, which is the 2-day pass. So that is March 17th and 18th. That's $500, only $500. And we have a 2-pay payment plan. So you can get it for $250. Just deposit $250, and then in 30 days, pay the other $250. We have our 3-day, which is our mogul table. That's $950. We only have 12 seats left for that, because we want to make sure that that is a smaller experience. So that's 3 days, and that's March 16th through the 18th. You can pay in full, or for this one, there is a 3-pay plan. So you would just do $320 today, and then 2 other payments of $320 every 30 days. If you want to register now and pay later, there's third-party funding available, and also through a third-party funder. That's one option. But also, when you click, let me go here, for example. When you go to the payment page, let me show you that page. Stop screen. Let me go to show you. When you go to the payment page, if you need a longer runway in terms of being able to pay, you'll see that it has Klarna and Afterpay, right? So those options are available by just clicking on Pay in Full, and you'll have those options where you have a longer, have the opportunity to do a longer pay period, or you can use our Pay in Full or our 2 or 3 payments. So lots of stuff going on, but all in service of ensuring that we go and that we thrive in 2026 as women experts, as women who want to make money from our mind, and stop making money, for other people. We did that in the corporate space. We did it really, really well. We made lots of money in that space, but we come into entrepreneurship and we get a little bit lost, because it is a totally different environment, and we have to know how to transfer what we did in corporate into this arena so that we can still thrive and we can build, not just be the most educated, especially as Black women, and as Black women, the ones who start businesses the most, but also be able to participate in the economy, the wealth economy, with these businesses, and not just create jobs for ourselves or create like a little, hobby and make us have to go back to work. We can make money with our mind. We can make lots of money with our mind. However, we have to be positioned powerfully and profitably to do that. And that's what this system, the mogul operating system, helps you to do. So, again, scan the QR code in the top that you see on the screen. That is to join us for our party. Join us for the party December 16th, 7 p.m. Eastern on Zoom, free. So you could be anywhere and join us. And if you want the entire system, the mobile operating system, just drop MOS in the comments and I will send you the link. So that's it for now. I will see you tomorrow and we will continue working through the mobile operating system and we will work with Chloe. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I will see you. Take care.